Hetty is a young girl, well dressed. She has some money, means, appearance of being well bred, and she's traveling. She gives birth one night at a stranger's house, a friendly woman, and leaves shortly after. The baby is found dead in a hole in the ground by a worker nearby, and um, he brings it home to his wife, and it's declared dead. And they go back to the spot where the baby was, and Hetty is found there, having returned to the spot where the child's died, and she's sitting there with a chunk of bread on her lap. She is arrested, tried, and convicted of murder. We're not giving any more information than that, and so I thought about the character as a woman. I asked several people their take because the story is so short, and they all came back with something that suggested that Hetty was not of sound mind. As a woman, especially a mother, would not act that way. It must have been postpartum depression, temporary insanity, or some sort of sickness. So, and there is reference to that by the woman who helps her deliver the baby, saying that she is flushed. So I decided to find out the backstory.
Adam is a local carpenter, much admired for his integrity and intelligence, in love with the very beautiful Hetty. She, however, is attracted to Arthur, the charming local squire's grandson and heir, and falls in love with him. When Adam interrupts a tryst between them, Adam and Arthur fight. Arthur agrees to give up Hetty and leaves to return to his militia. After he leaves, Hetty agrees to marry Adam, but shortly before their marriage she discovers she is pregnant. In desperation, she leaves in search of Arthur. She cannot find him. Unwilling to return to the village on account of the shame and ostracism she will have to endure, she delivers her baby with the assistance of a friendly woman she encounters. Later, the child is killed when she abandons it in a field. Not being able to bear the child's cries, she tries to come back, but she is too late when she finds out that it dies of exposure. Hetty is caught and tried for child murder. She is found guilty and sentenced to hang.
KSPS recently did a show, American Prime Time, showing the change in our perception in our ideas of women and their roles.
Let's challenge the icon of motherhood. Is there only one way to be a mother? Is it okay to be a different kind of mother? And not even is it okay, but those things exist, so let's just tell the truth about them.
There are court cases and trials, even recent ones like Casey Anthony, that question our treatment of women in terms of the ability to do violent crime. Do we expect women to be incapable of that when really crime and law is showing that they are capable? A servant woman, Lena, is working for a white couple in South Africa. She is suspected of having killed her baby right after it was born. Whether she actually did so or not is not told in the story, but the authorities have considered her guilty regardless, and she's carried off, presumably in the story to be punished. At the same time, the white couple, of whom the mistress is Ella, they've been looking forward to a trip to Europe for some years. She discovers that she's pregnant, and rather than let it interfere with the trip, she has an abortion.
The main theme addressed throughout the story is that Ella, the wealthy white woman, is is accusing her young black servant of murder while she has committed the same crime. The only differences in their experiences is privilege and reasoning. Lena is a servant who is not free to make adjustments to her given schedule. She cannot risk taking any time off as it seems she'd be fired. Perhaps she can't afford to care for the child, nor pay for an abortion. We aren't told if she has the option even. Ella can easily take time off and make adjustments, can care for another child, and does afford an abortion. Lena, as a servant during apartheid, does not have many choices, while Ella has every choice. Neither felt the child should or could interrupt. Ella justifies her experience and has no regrets, being told and telling herself any post-surgical adjustment is just her body, not her psyche, and it's all quite natural. She is shocked and disgusted at Lena, and the belief that her circumstances and choices were unnatural, and that Lena is simply a murderer.
90 days passed. I'm told, get ready to go, you're being released. They give me back my tie. It's now midsummer. They give me back that heavy summer suit that I had, my watch that I hadn't had all this time. I go down the stairs from that little cell. Station commander is beaming. I'm suspicious. Are you ready? Releasing me? Yes, he said. I walk out. I see one of the interrogators coming towards me from the street. He puts out his hand. I think that's nice. And he says, I'm placing you under arrest. I take my watch, my tie. I go back to the cell again. All done in terms of the law. Can be detained for 90 days, and then another 90 days, another 90 days. Eventually, after 168 days, I was released. I never knew why I was detained. To this day, I don't know. Never knew why I was released. I was so overjoyed, I ran from the center of Cape Town, right through Cape Town, past Greenpoint, Sea Point, for anybody who knows that area, to Clifton, about 10 miles away, flung myself clothed into the sea. 2 years later, I was back inside again.
It's important to ask ourselves, are rules relative to culture? Was it wrong for Ella to want to reserve time for her marriage, to go on a trip, to preserve a standard of living? Is it wrong to advocate for lifestyle over sense of duty, as we do in the West? Maybe Lena should have had the baby not be preserved. It would have been a burden on society. Possibly the the mother is unwed and servile. What kind of life would that be? How do we perceive a good or a better life? Is that a good reason for infanticide? And do we give license to positions in society, obviously with privilege, but again with servanthood? Do we give them the benefit of the doubt and say, oh well, they're poor, they're allowed to kill their baby? We need to think about these things.